Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I'm Arby Piper. This is the Piper Academy Network. Guys, taking a look here at the chart right now. We got this pump rally yesterday. Big Trump tariff announcement after his 4-hour insider warning, by the way. Got that nice pump up. Guys, we went back to the golden pocket. We hit resistance of the golden pocket. We hit the dynamic reactor and the quantum reactor, both of them denying that pump any further movement. And now we're getting a pullback after everyone got all bullish and hopium filled yesterday. All we did was create a lower high. Guys, this is what we discussed. We said there are 2 to 6 rallies that take place in a bear market downside, right? And that is what we got to see. We got to see a relief rally. It is a setting of a lower high. That is all it is at this point until we make a different price structure on high time frames. We're going to be breaking all that down. We're going to be talking about some great headlines. And we had CPI data that came in this morning. We're going to be looking here at the crypto bubbles also, guys. We are green on the daily, but on the hourly, we're getting sell-off in the markets right now. And you guys need to know all this info. So stay tuned. Let's get into this. Get your notebooks out. You guys know what time it is. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. Let's go here. I got my new setup, guys. I figured since I'm taking so many vacations, since Piper's taken so many vacations, he might as well come over here and just put that cruise boat behind me all the time. That's how it's going to be from now on. Taking vacations. I got like 3 cruises between now and January. I've got a Bitcoin conference in May, doing a Midwest trip in April, or in the fall, I mean, and then I might be doing something in the spring. I think I might be going to Lake Havasu for a week. I don't know. Somewhere in there, I'm going to Banff, Canada, and hanging out with Alex, though. But guys, if you do not know, if you were watching Alex's show this morning, his nano, his grandfather had a fall, so he had to cut it short and abruptly. So guys, put him in your thoughts and prayers. Much love to Alex, though, and his family, man. I'm thinking about you, bro. Let's go ahead and bring up my co-host, though. The man, the myth, the legend, the host of Trade with OC. Guys, it's the OC guy. What's up, bro? How you doing today, man? I heard you got breakfast. How was that? How'd that work out for you?
Oh man, I'm just a happy person today. It worked out perfectly, man. And I was telling you today in the morning, like, you know what, that I don't know how to say that. Maybe let's just go ahead and say it. The dumbass was me, not the electrician, right? Because here's the point. I'm just a simple man. I'm not fully awake in the morning, right? Till I have my coffee and my breakfast. So I came up running, right? I want to use the microwave, the outlets that don't have, electricity. And then when I started, complaining about it with my fiance, she's like, all right, but how about your gas? And I'm like, what are you talking about? My car? Like, yeah, I get gas in my car, but what do you mean? Like, go buy some breakfast? No, dumbass. Like, don't you have a stove? Don't you have gas like to cooking? And I'm like, maybe. So yeah, it turns out that brain was not braining in the morning, but today, man, I'm just so happy. Look at that. I even had my orange juice with no coffee on it. Cheers.
OC. This is why we keep smarter women around us than we are, right? This is why, because they know that electricity is not required for a gas oven and stove. So shout out to MJ and -1 point to OC's intellect for the week. Let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat right now, guys. We got CJ Taylor, my brother. Literally, my brother from my mother in the house with us right now. Alexander G, Atlas Prime, J Violet, Buck JR, Harp is in here with us, fading TradFi. There we go. Froth Dog Billionaire getting all frothy in here. The Dusty Hunt is in here with us also. Who else we got? We got Wix Wi-Fi 89, aka 2Dub, is in the house. Mr. J, Robert Mulligan, Ahsoka Tano. Who else? Username. I see you. I don't know if I said you, but you always get a shout out. Appreciate you being here, Mr. J. Crypto Coin Mindset. Keith is in here with us. BC Port Corp. Got to update the schedule time that's on the banner at the top of the YouTube because he's got a new time. He had to push it a little bit to the left because, he's got a job. He's got to go fiat mine, right? So take care of that business. We'll get that done. And Roman Brave, I appreciate you all being here, man. Let's go ahead and get into the news. We got a lot to break down today. Oh, Banana Republic. I do love cruises. I'm doing a cruise down, leaving out of Los Angeles, believe it or not. I'm kind of pre-scoping that idea for PiperCon 2026. But we're leaving out of Los Angeles and we're going to be taking a cruise down the west coast of Mexico. We're hitting Puerto Vallarta. We're hitting Cabo San Lucas, Mazatlan. I don't know how to say that. I'm sure I butchered it. Okay. And La Paz. So we're hitting all four of those locations. I got $500 casino credit for the casino, $200 on board credit, a free excursion, free pickup by VIP sedan from the airport and back to the airport, platinum status the whole time on there. So I get an officer's cocktail party with all the ship officers, free gift when I get there, free gift when I leave, free drink package, and free Wi Fi. Only cost me $800 for two of us for a balcony room because we gambled a lot, evidently, the last time we went out on a cruise. So, doing that one, December, we're doing a river cruise up through Europe, hitting all the Christmas markets in Europe. So, we're doing that in December. And then January, we come right back less than 30 days later, go to Galveston, get on another cruise ship, and we're staying in the Haven. If you don't know what that is, you should check it out. But yes, it is. It is a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle cruise. So, but we're staying in the Haven, so we have like a butler and all kinds of crazy stuff. Got to check it out. Got to live, right? Got to go live. That's what the point of doing all of this work that we've done our whole lives, and all of this investing, and all of this, getting out of the markets at the top after buying the bottoms and everything like that, guys. Why do we do it for? So that we can enjoy life, right? That's the whole point of this. If you don't ever take it and do something with it, then what are you living for? To make money? No, make money to live life. That's the goal. OC, let's go ahead and jump in on this market update. I want to give everybody the data. Let me refresh some stuff here so that it's all nice and clean and refreshed when we get over there. And we'll get into it. Yeah, my gypsy girl, we did some training with her yesterday, guys. And that's matter of fact what somebody on X said. You're oddly quiet or something along the silence or something like that, right? Because I didn't reply back yesterday. I was off training, doing one-on-one with the dog. So she's in service training, if you guys don't know. So we had to go do some one-on-one. But yeah, the people that reached out to me, and the people that were asking, and inside the Discord community, we were talking about the levels and stuff like that. So I just replied back to him basically what I told you guys at the beginning here. Until I see a change of structure on higher time frames, nothing's changed. That was a lower high, and we are still bearish. So, and what do you know? Hit key resistance levels. Shout out the chart prime, and down this bad boy goes again. So let's go get into the news, guys, and we'll come back, take a look at this Bitcoin chart. Let's go. Nope, that is not the news cam I want. That's the news cam I want right there. So, all right, let's go see here. Looking at the Into the Cryptoverse metrics today, guys. Currently, right now, the total crypto market cap at $2.566 trillion. Trending level of that for median average is $3.689 trillion. Undervalued by 30.44% right now. Looking at the current risk levels, we're at 47.7% risk. That means we are on a 3x DCA. If you guys are not familiar with our DCA Piper plan, it is the best way to invest. I guarantee you will not find a better one, and if you do, I will readjust and go back and find a way to make this one better, because it's telling you a good solid way to manage going in and an exit plan. We have an infill and an exfil. You don't have a mission without a way to get off the objective, right? And we have a profit-taking plan built in on that. So if you guys don't know, now you know. Looking at Bitcoin dominance with stables, we're at 62.52%. Without stables, 68.43%, guys. This thing is crushing it. I told you we were going to hit 71 on this Bitcoin dominance a long time ago. That is where we are heading. So let's go check out the fear and greed. See how it's looking today after that little rally yesterday. Sure, it is probably up a little bit. Let's go. We're at 39. We're still in fear, but we're out of extreme fear, so that's a good thing. Let's jump over to the crypto bubbles. Look at the flood. It's got a nice flood there of red. As I shrink this down, let's put this on the daily, and you can see a lot of this is green. Fartcoin up 22.6%. Tau up 16. Flares up 21.7. Drop it down here, though, to the 1 hour, and you can see we are getting some pullback here. Let's go in here and take a look. Bitcoin is just under $81,000 right now. I entered a trade yesterday, guys, in our Discord. I said, I'm going to short at this level. I got into the short, and then I said my stop loss was 83K. It actually got hit, and it stopped me out. Successful trade. That's what it is, because it followed the plan, right? But I did do something I don't normally do, and I re-entered back on my golden pocket because I was pretty adamant that this thing was getting resistance here at its current at that level on the 618, which I'll go over in a second, and I got back in. So I revenge traded. I broke one of my rolls yesterday. We'll see how it plays out. Bitcoin, though, right now under $81,000, up 4.2% of the day, down 0.7% on the hourly. Ethereum sitting at 1561. I still think this is going to go down and break $1,200. Right now, it's up 5.2%, but taking back 1.6 on the daily. Any big movers here? XRP had a nice rally, 9.4%. So shout out to anybody who jumped in on that trade yesterday. Solana's up 6.2. Doge is up 5.4. Cardano, man. Cardano, 7.3% to the upside, hitting over 60 cents. I know Ada Ace is hoping for that 70 cents. He's like, come on, baby, come on back to me. It's trying to get there, man. Chainlink, very far off of $800, not too far off from $8. If you know, you know. 7.5% to the upside, giving back almost a full percent in the last hour. Hedera, man, H bar pumped almost 14%. It just changed, but it was almost 14%. 1.4% to the downside on that, sitting at 17 cents. So we had a nice move, up 10.3%, and that rounds out the top 20 there on big movers. I mean, Mantra moving back into the top 20 again. But overall, good rally. But we've discussed this. It is nothing more than a relief rally. And I told you guys we get 2 to 6 of those in a bear market. So this is number one. Let's go in and take a look at the markets here right now, guys. Dow Jones opening 2.54% to the downside, giving back some of those gains from yesterday. Yesterday, by the way, that turnaround, the most historic rally ever in history. It's the highest return rally ever in a single period of time. So we'll be telling people why revenge trading is a no-no on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Good job, BC. Tell them, train them, tell them don't do what Piper did. He's taking too much risk. S&P is down 3%, NASDAQ down 3.8, Russell 2K down 3.5. And guys, the VIX, after falling all the way down yesterday, on its way back up at 38 points. Let's go check out the bonds, see how that's looking. 10-year yield is coming back down as per the plan. Oil is down back below 60. And I told you guys, this is when they start getting into that range of not being profitable. So they start shutting down parts of the oil field to limit operational cost down back below 60. And gold on its way back up at 31.51. I had a feeling that gold was hitting the support band there on a retest and was going to rally from that point. Silver's at 30. Copper's up. That's interesting to see right now. But it did have pretty harsh pullback, so not overly surprising. Palladium and platinum also in the green. Let's go check out this data that we got this morning, guys, because this is why everybody got bullish, but they're missing a couple of things here that I'm going to break down for you. Did we get a better than expected core inflation rate month over month? Absolutely. We were at 0.2. Consensus was 0.3. We came in at 0.1. Better than March, right? Our March was better than February. Okay. So month over month, we had a decrease. Well, we had a 0.1 increase, but less than we expected it to be. Okay. Which means that slowdown of inflation. Okay. Core inflation year over year. Now, keep in mind, this is versus last year when we were already doing that sharp pullback at that point, and then had that little spike up. Remember that? So we had a pullback back here, spiked up, and then we got back in it again. So if we go in here and take a look, I'll show you the chart. So looking at this from year over year, let's go to 3 year. There we go. And you can see right here, we are in January 2025, right? And we go back here and look, we had just come off of that big pullback and we were just in it. So that decrease is based on what we had back then. Now, is it lower? Absolutely, it is lower. But there's some things that I want to show you on CPI and talk about some things that are going on that I think next month is going to be even worse because of this data. I think this data sets us up for harsh numbers next month. One thing that someone pointed out was inflation rate being -1, deflation. Did some work on some chat GPT, said, so is this deflation? Did some breakdown on it. It said no. Deflation equals sustained broad-based broad-based declines across the economy. What we have here is a 1-month decline, not sustained, driven mostly by energy and transportation, not broad-based. Core CPI was still 0.1% month over month. Prices excluding food and energy are still rising. So we do have rising inflation, okay? It just was not as bad as what they thought it would be. And on some things, it was way better. So the one thing I want to point out, though, let's take a look at CPI in general. It was at 319.082 points. They expected it to be 320 points, came in at 319.799, which is actually higher than what it was. This means inflation might be slowing down on its growth rate, but we still had higher inflation. Okay, guys? So be aware of that. And here's why I think this is going to be bad. Because if we have this number now, shout out to Alex, though, man. Alex, is everything okay? Nano is okay. Oh, thank God. All right, guys, there you go. I talked about it. Alex coming in here, giving us the update. I'm glad to hear that, Alex, man. My heart dropped when you said that because I just went through a lot of that with my stepdad not long ago before he passed away. So much love, man. Here's why I think the CPI data today is going to actually set us up for bad things coming. We are already seeing, and I got some articles on this, we're already seeing some stores that have started to increase prices already. They've already increased prices despite tariff cost not even being in the equation yet, right? And so that means that when the costs come in from inflation or from tariffs, they're going to tack on even more. Okay. So we are going to have the inflationary effect coming in where we do get a spike up after having extremely low numbers, lower than expected, which means that the difference of where we are, because it is low, versus where we come in at next time is going to be a very big jump, in my opinion. If we had come in at what they expected, would it be bad today? Yes. Would next month be as bad? Not at all, because it would not be that much of a difference. But with us coming in lower and we do get those numbers next month, it's going to look like a pretty big jump in inflation, and that's going to scare the crapola out of people. So that's what we're seeing there on CPI, guys. Tomorrow, we're going to get PPI data. And as of right now, it is expected that producer price index is going to be higher, and Michigan consumer sentiment expected to be bad. Like, look, people are not feeling very hopium filled here about the overall consumer in the economy. So let's go see over here. We got this data came in this morning. Inflation. Yep, we know that. Tariffs came into effect 2 days ago. This is not reflected in the data, and that's what we just talked about. Yep, important things there to know about. Let's go see what else we got. Longs versus shorts, guys. Still got a lot more longs going on here than what we have in shorts. We're sitting at let's see here. We got 38 and 17. So that's 45, 55% in the longs. We've only got 31% that are shorting right now and 15% are neutral. So we're still seeing a lot more longs than shorts on the overall market. Let's go check out the heat map here. You were supposed to be refreshed already for me, sir, but you are not. Let's get this thing going here. We do have this heat band that's sitting down below us. I'll get into the Dixie in a minute, Alex. Give me a minute. I'm still watching this band down here, guys. It's coming in about $66,000, and this is right in line with what I've showed you on the chart. 67 to 63K is my first line of defense. If we don't hold that level, we have a whole different ball game going on here. Would be definitely a bear market continuation. So Bitcoin inflows to Binance, guys. A lot ahead of this March CPI print this morning. A lot of Bitcoin was being sent over to Binance. Typically, you don't move your Bitcoin to an exchange unless you plan to do one thing and one thing only: sell. So a strong acceleration of it moving over there. The surge of inflows to crypto exchange Binance amid macroeconomic uncertainty and upcoming CPI results has analysts split on whether it's a bullish or bearish signal. Can you get out of here? Stupid banners. Bitcoin inflows into the exchange have surged over the past 2 weeks amid uncertainty of from Don. Investors are actively moving funds to Binance. So I just want to show you guys what happens here. Let's go jump over to this chart and let's talk about this for a second. Because the S&P, we've talked about these little relief rallies, right? This is when you see those big people selling. They wait for it to get, I'm not going to sell until I get a pump. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. I need a pump. And then they sell at that resistance. And guess what? Down it goes and down it goes. Yesterday, all we really did, we got a relief rally, much like we see here, much like it was actually a lot like this, where it came down, went up, went even lower, came up, did a liquidity sweep, and then continued down. This is where these whales that are moving all this Bitcoin to Binance are going to look to offload as they've missed these opportunities. Oh, I missed it. It goes up, relief rally, now I can sell. It goes down, little relief rally, now I can sell, right? And so it is still problematic that all of that is sitting over at Binance right now. They started it 2 weeks ago. It's not like they did this just for CPI today. It's over there, and we have not seen it move back off of there yet. So I thought we had it bad here in Florida. Geez, Harp. What did Harp say? I forgot to look yesterday, but was $5.50 for regular and diesel. Ouch. Ouch. That is crazy gas prices, man. I bought gas yesterday. It was $2.77. You should move over here to good old Texas. So, guys, what I'm watching here is we had this rally up. This is the shout out to LBC. This is his 52-week moving average here. If you guys don't know, simple moving average. Typically, when we bounce off of it, it is very bullish. We tried to hold it right there. You can see that we fell below it. It is now going to be our resistance. Why? Because when we break beneath it, typically it becomes our resistance level. And you can see that keeps rejecting down. Look at this on the Bitcoin chart and go take a look at that. And you'll see that once we break it, it is a retest zone for us. So even if we get up there, even if we break this, we have to watch out for that. So as of right now, you can see the S&P very bearish, guys, right? Let's go back and look at that. Bring it back up. Very bearish. The S&P has broken its 52-week, and it is now going to be resistance for us. Bitcoin, on the other hand, holding it as support. We got to bounce on it yesterday. Guys, I said if we break below this, close beneath it, retest it, and go down, it's going to be bad. We get the news yesterday on the tariffs, and it is now a bounce. This is a little bit of hopium, in my opinion, on Bitcoin, but I think if the S&P continues to get sell-off like we're seeing, very likely could see that happening with Bitcoin. It's still a risk asset at the end of the day. What else did I have on here? Fed officials, we're just going to go over some headlines here real fast, some things you guys need to know. Fed officials signal no plans to ride to the rescue with rate cuts. So as of right now, not seeing any rate cuts from the Fed in order to save. It's going to be data-based. That's it. So what's the SMA? That's your SMA, Lunar Beaches. It is a 52-week LBC SMA. Okay, just so you guys know. I gave you credit for it when I showed it, bro. Let's take a look here at what this headline says. Georgia, this is what I was talking about on the CPI, guys. Georgia produce companies are already seeing price increases as tariffs go into effect. They're already seeing the price increases. Again, tariff prices have not been a thing yet at all. So if they're already raising the prices, what do you think they're going to do when the tariffs take effect? They're going to use that as an excuse to raise it again. That is going to equate to a rising inflation. That's going to come into next month's CPI data and PPI, and we're going to see a return of inflation, in my opinion, off of this. Also, guys, as tariff loom, local construction companies are seeing price increases. So I heard this from Crypto Billy, actually. He works in the home building business, home construction business. And he also said that that the tariffs are already being priced in on lumber and stuff like that. So even though no one has had to pay any tariff pricing yet. So I do think that we are going to see a return to inflation, and getting low data this month, lower numbers than what we expected, is going to equate to us seeing a return of that. So because we don't make a lot of produce in our country. A lot of the produce, California, that's pretty much it. Let's go look over here. Some U.S. consumers are starting to stockpile goods ahead of Trump's new tariffs. Guys, that's demand. We talk about supply and demand, the two biggest factors of inflation. Consumers are already starting to stockpile, so that's going to also be a reason for increase there on inflation, guys. In my opinion, we've got three things there. Prices are already coming up. We had very low numbers come in this month, and people are stockpiling. That's going to drive us to see a big jump potentially in inflation next month. And you guys should just beware and be prepared. That's the word of the day. OC, have you guys, like, I know you guys talk about your inflation levels down there in good old Mexico all the time, but are you guys seeing any price changes recently? Are things starting to are people starting to froth up and gouge prices already down there in Mexico, or how's it working down there in comparison to what we're seeing here in the US?
So we already have a lot of changes on prices from early years, from the early on the year, right? At this point, we're just seeing prices just being stabilized and not really fluctuating that much. But still, whatever it happens in the state, we are always looking at what happens there, because after that, we have kind of like the shock wave, right? After the main explosion, we have the shock wave. Take a little bit for it to kick in, but definitely goes in here. And usually it is a little bit worse than up there, right, than in the states. But other than that, I mean, we're pretty stable at this point. We are not seeing that much of a change. But I mean, we could be having a big change upcoming, especially with the tariff, because I mean, I know that doesn't create inflation, actual inflation. It just changes an additional fee into a price, which is not equal to inflation. But we're gonna be seeing a couple of other rebound, sorry, rebounds on prices as the tariff thing, yeah, goes on. But yeah, that's what we're seeing over here.
Awesome. Yeah, let's go jump into the Bitcoin chart and let's talk about that. But before we do, I want to show you guys. Just give you a little warning. Shout out to Biomex. This is his beautiful video. Two Dub shared this last night. I love it. It's great. You guys are gonna love it. Here we go. Here we go.
Pet that dog. Can I pet that chart? Can I pet that dog? Come on now. Come on now. All of y'all. Can I pet that chart? Because that chart looks like a dog and that dog is like a bear.
Exactly, exactly. So let's go take a look at this chart and see what it's looking like here. Can I pet that dog? Drop those dog emojis, drop gypsy emojis there in the chat, guys. Let's go talk about this bearish chart. Can I pet that chart? Guys, we got the rally here yesterday. I talked about this at the beginning. We ran up to the quantum reactor and dynamic reactors. Period. Shout out to Chart Prime. That was our resistance. We hit my fib level of the 618, 83,047.13 was a previous level here that we were playing with for a long time in this golden pocket. We're right back in the golden pocket. We got nowhere off of this except for right back where we were at on Sunday, 6 October, 6 April, so 4 days ago. And now it looks like we're going to lose this again. You can see we did get the downtrend on the oscillator. We're starting to move to the downside. Overall, when we look at the daily, yeah, we got a little turn up here. Turn up for what? The histogram, and it looks like this is going to come in. We might get that little bounce there, right? But what I'm watching here is $86,000. Why? Because that's our daily dynamic reactor and our 200 day simple moving average is sitting there. So we got a lot more resistance above us than what we do for support below us. Still did not get a bottom indication at all, even light candles here, the lighter color candles, the shadowy ones, at all on the monthly. So overall, I do think that, yeah, while we did get this bounce and it does indicate that we might get a relief rally, again, relief rallies happen 2 to 6 times per cycle, and there is a good potential that we're heading down to that $63,000 to $67,000 range. OC, black screen. Um, you guys can see. Okay, everyone else can see it. Cool. You guys were scaring me there for a second. Let's go ahead and kick it over to OC and see what he's looking at here, guys. On his chart, OC, what do you got for us on this local time frame, and where do you think we're heading next?
All right, so let's take a look at the 4 hours here. We were talking about a couple of possibilities in here, especially if you take a look at the late show. We were planning for an example of a late entries and how to manage our risk on using a stop loss and differentiate, or basically split our entry, main entry, single entry in different scenarios. What I do see here is let's take a look at what's happening here. Remember what we look for on this oscillator. This is the RSI prime with the Heikin-Ashi candles. We're usually looking for tiny candles, right? Let's take a look at last time whether we have a tiny candle, right? What happened? We have that same kind of like a pattern, little tail to little, pausing here, and then a long neck with a triangular face. Well, what we have, that we're missing the little tail, but we have the two pausing here, and then we have the squarish or triangular facing here. So as you can see, we can still have a secondary top, right? So I am seeing a possibility, especially because we're holding this area of sometime, or maybe a sweep of the lows in here and then going to hit this upper trend line. Let me zoom out on that trend line so we have a little bit of a perspective on how important that trend line is, right? Let me just go and take a look at the end. Look at that, man. We have had one, two, three, four, five, and this could be the sixth hit. Not only that, we will also going to be hitting at the bottom of this megaphone. All right, so we need to be careful here. That again, as Piper mentioned, this is not putting a higher low or a higher high. This is only putting a lower high if we reject out of here. And if we take our look at our oscillator, well, remember yesterday we were looking for areas of rejection. Remember what we marked in here, this almost invisible line that we have in here, right? When our oscillators start jumping inside of that, well, then that's where we start looking for rejection zones. Let's take a look at the best case scenario, right? Guys, again, let me repeat that. The best case scenario would be doing something like in here, breaking up, right? Retracing, breaking back up in here, and then finally making the retracement. What happened there? We had that further continuation to the trend line. Could we be maybe having the same thing? I believe so. I think that's what we're going to be seeing. But so far, guys, we are bearish. So when do you enter for a trade when we're bearish? Of course, at resistance, all right? So there's two things in here. We need to keep an eye on our oscillator. And guys, remember that we have a setup or a hour to give our class, right? Or the show. So we can't be all the time looking at when exactly it's going to happen. That's why we give you setups. So you are aware of what could be happening. And then on your own throughout the day, you can look for those signals. All right. So if we have rejection like this and we don't lose the previous highs in here, so we hold out that area at 80k 124 ish, I think the chances to hit the 85k are on the table and they're very possible. All right, if instead we lose the zero line in here and we keep going downwards, well then I believe that we're going to be going at least to this other trend line somewhere around in here at 77 at least. All right, because we're putting in a lower high, so it will be only natural to put a lower low. All right, and then what's going to be maybe the third option? It's going to be all right, maybe not sweeping the lows, just holding this area and right from this candle just bursting through up and above. Right, again, the next resistance is going to be leading the way for a reversal or a bounce in here. So that's what I'm seeing on the 4 hours. Let me do a quick overview on the 15 minutes before I pass it over to you, because the 15 minutes is looking juicy, to say the least. So we were experimenting, there we go, yesterday with a possibility of an inverted, of a head and shoulders, right? What we're usually, when we look for a head and shoulders, we want for the neckline, right, to be in the direction of the breakout, right? So if it's a head and shoulders like this, we want the actual line to be cricket to the right, down to the right. So we want something like this, all right? So the cricket line or the baseline, it is on the direction of the possible breakout. Yesterday, we talked about when we have a different directionality on that neckline, usually, yes, we could be breaking to the downside, but it's not going to be as of a big movement or as a dramatic movement as we are expecting out of a head and shoulders, right? So it diminishes or it subtracts some of that possibilities for a strong breakout. Nonetheless, we have that breakout. It's not about the breakout, it's about your retest, and off we go for the target. In fact, the actual target would be something like this, and guess what? We hit it exactly. Right now, we have flip of the ribbon, and we have some money flow jumping back on action. So I think that this right here, guys, was the next movement for at least taking previous highs. So again, be careful in here, because at this point, you need to start looking for either rejection or breakthrough. Other than that, turn it back to you, Piper.
Shout out to F2 Financial Failure in the house. He said, "Good morning, rich folk. Ain't no rich folk here. We ain't rich yet. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get there. We're working on it. We're building." Let's go talk about this. There was a really good post that came out a couple days ago. I was going to go through it yesterday. Did not go through it. Still applies. We're going to go talk about this real fast. And it has to do with China versus the U.S. and who has the favorable outcome here. So let's go talk about that, OC. Let's join me over here. Join me over here on the news cam. Things in China's favor right now, guys. U.S. needs to roll a lot of debt in the first half of 2025. We've talked about that. That's the reason for trying to get those yields down, right? Midterm elections are a risk for Trump if he goes too hard for too long. This is in line with what I said, that by summer 2026, we need to be on a massive build stage, right? Getting the economy going back again. Why? Because he has to have the economy in full steam ahead when it goes into the 2028 election year. He cannot have any cracks in his armor for the Republican Party if they plan to take the next election, right? It won't be him, obviously, but someone in the Republican Party. He needs to set them up. So that is going to be 2026 summer that I see that we have to be done with all of this. The Chinese culturally are world champions at being willing to endure hardship. Not absolutely agree. China controls a lot of rare earth metal production. Absolutely agree. Okay. This is also a reason why I think that you saw so much of Trump pushing on Ukraine for a precious earth metals deal, right? Hey, we need some of that product because I think what I'm doing is going to maybe have some shutdown on some other supply lines later on, right? Things in the U.S.'s favor. We have China needs to fight deflation. They already have a lot of debt and they have a deflationary economy right now, guys. Net importers have the advantage over net exporters in a trade war. That's us. We're the net importers. U.S. can make trade deals with countries that net export to the U.S. and net import from China, where U.S. tariffs are dropped if those countries put up tariffs on Chinese imports. So what he's saying is, I need to get this product. This product's made in China. Great. Mexico does not have a tariff deal going on with them. So I order it from a company in Mexico that brings it in from China. I have bypassed tariffs. That type of stuff is happening. Trust me. U.S. can make trade deals. Yep, we did that one. The CCP, China, really doesn't want to see civil unrest like during the late stages of their zero COVID policy. And if their deflation and their economy continues to get hit harder, guess what? They will see an uprise in civil unrest. U.S. has geographic control of many global canals and shipping routes. This is why Panama was important for Trump to get control of. Okay? There's a long game going on here, guys. Net, I think the U.S. wins the chicken game. Probably still best for someone like Singapore to try and broker a meeting so that neither side has to approach the other first and they can both save face and look strong, which we're seeing now with the 90-day pause for all the other countries. So I do think we're going to see those other countries start to make deals. Then China's going to be able to save face and go, well, other countries are already dealing with the U.S. I guess we'll come to the table now. But how are they reacting thus far? They reacted with retaliatory tariffs on top of our retaliatory tariffs on reciprocal on reciprocal on reciprocal. We talked about this last week, and we're continuing to see that with China right now. But overall, guys, I think what Trump's been playing out has been setting us up for everything. OC, dust it off, brother. Let's hear you. Is this just the masterful art of the deal that's going on here? Because we're seeing a lot of things that have to take place. These bridges, this key terrain that had to be controlled first, that Trump started out with right out the gate, like with the Panama Canal and the rare earth metals deal with Ukraine. What are your thoughts on this, man? Is this all by design? And how do we come out of it? Let's hear it. Go for it. Give it to me, OC.
All right, perfect. let me mention that I have my T4 hat. All right, so impress yourself. First, let me read you something here. Black Ops 2 begins in the year 2025, where China and United States are in a cold war after China stopped exporting rare earth metals elements. They're going to exact year. China, man, this is, I don't know, man. Black Ops 2, the video game. It kind of nails it down. and even to the year
So you're
2025.
saying stop watching The
Oh,
Simpsons for the predictions and start playing Black Ops 2. All right,
oh
guys,
yeah,
I
man.
guess we got to start a Piper Academy team and we'll just all meet up on Black Ops 2 so that we can go into our Cold War era and see how this plays out. Um,
Oh yeah.
Black Ops 2 tournament coming soon to Piper Academy Discord near you. No, I love it. But no, seriously,
All competitive.
is Trump was all of this purposeful, or did the chips just happen to fall in place that the things that we needed for this type of trade war were being obtained and controlled long before? What do you think?
I think it's a mixed bag. Let me get started first. That I'm still on my horse, talking about the bigger plan that I think. And again, I think my opinion, Trump has, right. He's flexing until something breaks. He knows some chips are gonna be flying out before something gives up, right. So the point right now is, I think those chips are starting to fly a little bit earlier than expected, and maybe the reaction was not the one that he was intended to at right now, right. I think that, we're gonna keep pushing, we're gonna be winning, right. That's how he mentioned is, we're gonna be winning, and then maybe when they get tired to losing, well, they're gonna be having some restrictions. But I think China overall has just got like going and start flexing again and saying, you know what, let's stop this, right. So if you keep doing this, we're gonna doing something else. So I believe it's a mixed bag, and something again on my team for hat. It is that I think his an analysis already have factored this in. I want to believe that, but we need to see the response of this government, right, to the Chinese threats. I would say it like that, right. If if they pull out something like amazing, I think they already have it factored in, and if they don't, I think they will have to either retrace or keep pushing it to the trade wars. But man, I'm getting chilly, right. I mean, I'm getting chicken bumps at this point, because nobody wants that, but also nobody can, or no country can look weak against the other one, because at this point it's who flexes the most, right, and who flexes the least without an exit plan usually is going to get the short end of the stick. So I think we're in a pickle.
I agree. I think it, but I do see that there was some rhyme and reason to all this craziness when everyone said, man, Trump is just throwing his weight everywhere, right? Yeah, mushroom stamp on this country, mushroom stamp on that country. If you know, you know. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it looks like it was getting himself positioned for what may have been coming down the line. Speaking of things coming down the line, let's go talk about this, OC, and then we'll have you look at some altcoins. A little hopium for you guys because I'm not a full time bear. I'm only bearish if I have to be. I still have a lot of hope. That's why we're dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin still on track for $200,000, but this must happen first. Here's what will propel a 150% price increase for Bitcoin. We'll go down here and just break it down. Bitcoin has yet to fly. The primary cryptocurrency did not start the business week off on the right foot, experiencing a major pullback below $75,000 after the trade wars between the U.S. and the rest of the world intensified with the implementation of additional tariffs. However, on April 9th, yesterday, Trump enacted a 90-day freeze on most new tariffs. The reciprocal rate was reduced to 10% for over 75 countries, and they have recently sought to renegotiate better terms with America. In the aftermath, Bitcoin has soared past $83,000 before slightly retracing to around 81.8. I think right now it's like 81.6 per CoinGecko. The resurgence garnered the attention of numerous analysts who made optimistic predictions for the near future. The ex-user Ali Martinez believes a breakout above 86,900 would be a precursor of a major rally to a new all-time high of $208,550. He added that based on the Meyer multiple indicator, Bitcoin could find solid support at approximately 69,500. The metric developed by Trace Mayer compares Bitcoin's current price to its 200-day moving average. and helps traders determine whether an asset is overvalued or undervalued. So, where does he think this would be going first? It would be that $69,500 range. Where is it at? He said it here. 69,500. Where are you? Where are you? Maybe it's at the top. Anyway, it's like $69,500 that he says it will go to first, and then it will break up above those levels. So let's jump over to the chart and let's talk about this because it's an interesting number that he's bringing up. There we go. Because it's right in line with what I was talking about here, where we may see this pullback. I shot a little bit lower than what he did, but I did say that it is a possibility that we could see on the weeklies. Go to the weekly. There we go. We could see this resurgence where we come down and hit the $63,000 to $69,000 range. What is this off of? It's off of these fixed range volume profiles here, guys. So this would be what I'm watching for here is a continued sell off down. By the way, you can see that we didn't even make it back up to a value area high on yesterday's candle. By the way, guys, it's right there. We would come down into my box here, which the top side of this is about 67,000. He's talking 69,000. And then get a bounce back up, pulling off the repeat of what we saw in 2021, repeat pattern, come in, still reject at the top of this golden pocket, which would then move up our projection for downside in the bear market of $36,000. Just to give you guys an understanding of what that would look like. I know they were talking about $200,000. I'm still thinking that the bounce up hits inside of our golden pocket here, even if we did break it like we did back in 2017, where we broke above that level, the only time we ever have, and went to the upside. What would that look like for our retracement? Well, let's go check it out. Let's go here. Let's grab our retracement level, because right now it is about 36,000. If we bring it all the way to the top of this, it's about 37,000. What would happen if this came in and hit all the way up to our level that they were talking about there of about $208,000? That would put us on a bottom side of about $56,000 here. Put it at 200. Yeah, about $55,000 on the retracement. If the price was to come in and break in, we're on the pullback, we hit that range, we come in, get a bounce in here, retest that low, that previous high, and go up to that $200,000 range. That level for the retracement from here to here on a logarithmic would give us a retracement down into the platinum pocket at $55,000 for the bottom side. And it might be a much better picture there. Of course, we're going to take profits if that happened. We are DCAing. We've took all of our profits here. We're doing a DCA all the way down through here. We would have a whole nother profit line to pull from all over again, and then look for that $55,000 range. Of course, at the end of the day, if we don't see it screaming at us here for bottom side movements, then all bets are off. But keep in mind that idea of that $63,000 level holding for us at that rectangle. Nope, not the horizontal, at that rectangle. There we go. Back on the weekly. This is going to be dependent on something heavily, and that is that this level holds. Why do I think that might be a problem for us? Because if we come over and we look at the monthly, and as I told you guys yesterday, we're about to pinch here and cross. And if we do get a confirmed cross, it doesn't do some type of rally like we had here, and we get that cross into purple, cross into purple, cross into purple. This historically has been a 50% move after we break into that purple cloud, and that 50% move, guys, would be all the way back down into our platinum pocket, which, by the way, also where we've always returned to. So there you go. A lot of what ifs and a lot of scenarios and a lot of historical data here, guys. At the end of the day, it's really simple. Check it out. All you're going to do is we're going to wait for a higher time frame bullish price structure change. That means price goes into a higher high, then retraces to a higher low, and then goes in to break the previous higher high. And that is a confirmation of a bullish structure. At that point, when price comes back for a higher low again, we can go in heavily with the mindset that we are now breaking price structure. Right now, the trend is to the downside. We set a lower high. Everyone just needs to calm down. Calm down. Because what's ultimately happening is continuation of bear structure right now. Can I pet that chart? Can I pet that dog? Shout out to Biomex. OC, what do you got for us on some altcoins? You got about 10 minutes. Let's go jump in and see what you're seeing over there, and then let's talk this thing out and head out of here.
Hashtag F Ethereum. Let's take a look at Fidelity Ethereum, by the way. As Alex Crypto says, man, it looks like I have that sick relationship, not sick, what is it, toxic relationship with Ethereum, right? I hate it, I love it, whatever. But the point is, remember that 1/4 of an entry that we took in here? Well, then remember that I said, well, your entry was in here. This is where we look for the bottom. Then next also we have the bullish diversions. So your first entry was in here, your second entry, your second chance was in here. And at this point, it was a little dangerous. So if you really wanted to jump in, well, then you can chase after a price, but with a fourth of your position and a stop loss somewhere around 1,418. What we set up for target? Well, we set up for early target here and then TP1 in there. What's happening? Well, you guys should be already be taking some profits. You should be moving your stop to entry as so. All right. If you did that, well, then what are we gonna be expecting? It is that, look at that, as we were speculating, we are flipping back over, right? We need to be careful in this, because if we lose back our zero lining here, most likely we're going to be going for the next low, something like that. All right. If we hold our zero lining here and we bounce up, I think we could be having a better chance to be at where our trend line is at, because this top is not over yet, right? And then remember that this is a speculation line. We are just finding it based on the previous support and resistances that we have. Look at that support, right? Let's also take a look at, there we go. We have a previous weekly low. I need to change that a little bit. There we go, much better. And then finally, we're kind of guessing where could it go based on this low and this other low, all right? So just based on that, we need to find that pivot. Once we find that pivot, then most likely is going to be, of course, at support. Well, then we're going to be trying to jump into that one for the next either double top, right? Because we have a trend line here, right? Or the breakout retest dynamic reactor top, all right? So again, this doesn't change macro structure. Even if we hit dynamic reactor and we reject, if we reject, we're just putting in a lower high in here, right? So be prepared, guys. I mean, we have a good volatility to start to not break below, but we're still very, very bearish, and we're turning around on our oscillator, which is not cool. If you want Ethereum to keep going upwards, right? So we could see maybe another movement like that. If we see that, we have a way better chance to hit the dynamic reactor. So again, your possible entry right now, if you already have taken some profits, I would say, not as a financial advice, but get out of that long, take your profits, walk away with what you got, right? Again, if you want to keep it, that's on you. But so far, I'm already out of that trade and planning to enter or re-enter at 1,552. Let's go very quickly on Litecoin. Litecoin, perfect. It played out on structure exactly as we were speculating. All right, so there we go. We have the balloon dog basically going up, going back down for our support zone. We are on the support zone already, and we need to hold that zero line as we were talking about yesterday, right? We have a hidden bearish divergence. Usually that could be meaningful when we start looking for that extra reversal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is it. I just overextended this line. So basically, this is wider. I was expecting a wider movement of what happened. It is a little bit faster, right? So there we go. This is it. Let's go for OM. OM, it could be looking good, but not really. Why? It did play out the bullish scenario. Remember, this was the bullish scenario. This was the bearish scenario, right? An inverted head and shoulders with a impact in here, and that in on the impact we needed to see a break through the zero line. We did. What happened is exactly what we were speculating on that closure of the head and shoulders. It just happened faster. You see that? So what are we expecting now? Well, then we need to see for that to play it out. Why? Because this was a pump and a dump, right? We don't have any more structure. We just kind of did a Bart Simpson. This is not good. Usually this indicates that we're not going to be holding, but still we are pretty bullish. Our volatility is not that bad, so we could maybe be doing some ranging and then popping up. Hopefully that is the case, but we need to wait for that flip of the ribbon at support. Where is the next support that we have? It is, come on, where is it? There we go, which is not that great. The next big support, it is somewhere around 627. If we get all the way to back down here to this support, we're going to be losing dynamic reactor. So I would be friendly advising to wait on OM, or again, use quarter of an entry right here, somewhere around this area with the flip of the ribbon. BNB, again, playing out nicely. There we go. Look at that. It moved as expected. Breakout retest. We are in the retest. If we are able to hold it, again, everything is mimicking the same pattern, right? If we're able to hold it on the support, off we go. This is your bullish entry possible. But remember what was that? All right. If you do, if you don't, go back to the previous class and please watch it again, because this is going to be your possible entry. All right. Other than that, let's go to Adam. Adam, my friend, it is just crazy. We were looking for that open up megaphone, right? But it just went higher, went lower, all over the place. At this point, we're having the same pattern, like the balloon dog face, but very creepy. It seems like a Chernobyl dog balloon right there. But other than that, we need to give it some time to Adam. I think it needs some to stabilize a little bit. If you want to jump in for a long, I would recommend waiting for previous lows, right? Or somewhere around here, these areas. And then if you want to short it, I would recommend waiting for previous highs, somewhere around those areas. I would not be trading the inside of the structure, just the bottom or the top, because look at that beautiful volatility. And finally, GMX, beautiful breakout. The retest was very shy, but still above. There we go. Beautiful retest. And then off we go. At this point, we're having a peak seeker, cross of our VWAP, bearish divergence, and yeah, we still have a lot of money flow. So what can we do? We need to wait for breakout. Which breakout? Either this money flow POC or the bottom dynamic reactor. Your next entry for a long could be right here on previous weekly low. All right, something like that. Somewhere around here. Let me just put it like here. Perfect, much better. And then off we go. If we are still above the zero line, if your oscillator start breaking back below your zero line, guys, brace, because we're gonna be going lower. All right. And then if we from here start breaking to the upside, wait for the retracement once again and aim to Valhalla, because we have a huge gap in here. You could be taking advantage of this big breakout if we have continuation. All right. Other than that, passing it over to you, Piper.
Awesome. Yeah, we had a request for a stock $5 super chat. Shout out to BC Port Corp. So we're going to be checking that out in a second here. But guys, remember, you can make money either way. Like, we have a DCA plan, but OC is giving you guys some solid trade setups there. And the old feared balloon dog is a solid trade structure there, according to Alex O Crypto. He crushes it with that thing. So if you guys do want to trade with us, check out our Blowfin link, guys. It's down below. And oh, by the way, we do have a 50% cash back offer right now from Blowfin, exclusive to Piper Academy. Deposit up to $500, get $250 voucher back for trade fees that you for trade money that you guys can trade with. So 50% cash back deal. Let's go check out GFI. All right. listen here, BC. You should have bought here. We were hitting key levels right here. This was our upper support, upper resistance band on our market dynamics chart prime predictive ranges. There we go. Line, please. We had a beautiful bounce there on the 50-day simple moving average and that. Right now, we are at a critical resistance level, and I'm going to show you why. If we go and we turn on this beautiful fixed trend-based fib extension, this is being pulled from the low to the high to the low. You can see right here where we rejected here last week, and where we are trying to break through right now is the golden pocket on that trend-based fib extension. You measure 3 points, it gives you a projection, okay? What I would wait for is this. I would wait for this daily candle to see if we hold this golden pocket as support. If we do, we're printing an entirely new predictive range block, which means we're probably going to head at least up to like $30, in my opinion, because once we break these, you'll see, once we break previous ranges, where's the previous range? Way back in the day, the Wayback Machine. Holy crap, this thing goes back. Keep going. There we go. There we go. We broke it here. Previous ranges got broken here, and you can see that the new golden pocket of the predictive ranges held beautifully for support. Okay. Yes, we broke it back here, but it absolutely gave us that move up, and now gold is on a run again. Let's go back in and check this out on the oscillators that I'm seeing over here and why I think that would also be the goal. Because on the daily, we are now printing about to go into a bullish histogram. We're about to cross into a bullish signal. We got a bottom indication that took place here. You can see that right there is right there. And when we had the bottom here, we had it right there. So if you're going to get into it, look for that retest. But I would actually, me personally, I would wait for, because this is so high up, not at the bottom like it was back here. I would actually wait for us to come in on one more retest, let it come up and then come down hard, give that print off, and then ride it up. Right now, you can go in with the partial if you want that exposure, but do the big one heavier when you start getting more confluence on the charts there. So, OC, that is all we got time for today. We're a little bit past the top of the hour. You got to go to a class, so I appreciate you, sir. Have a great one, man. My camera is all blurry. Come back into me. Baby, come back. There we go. Perfect. OC, appreciate you, man. Guys, if you haven't done so, smash the like. OC, you go head over to your class. I will walk people out of here sitting in front of the beautiful cruise ship there. Guys, we're about to go head over to Dano Crypto. We're going to be back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., breaking all of this stuff down. Don't forget, tomorrow we PPI coming in. PPI data? PP? Is it the PP? PPI, yes. Tomorrow is PPI data coming in, guys. So we're going to be talking about that tomorrow morning. I'll also tune in, catch OC Guy on his evening live trading setup and education class. We're going to have Markets After Dark tonight with Lunar Beaches. BC Port Corp tomorrow at a new time. BC, drop that time in the chat for me. I appreciate you. And then we'll be back at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. When you get over to Dano Crypto, please drop those graduation caps. Let them know that the alumni has kicked in the door and we are in the house, and I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Until then, trade safe, and as always, use some risk management, cruise the waves. Shout out to LBC, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace. I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling up the wheels flow low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling up the wheels flow low. Sound off. To get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra. Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean.
awesome, dude.